Hi, welcome to watch the second episode of the exclusive interview I had with Dr. Babila Thomas on the unemployment or underemployment situation of immigrants in Finland. In the first part, we analyzed the major causes of underemployment. In this second part, we examined some of the major effects underemployment has in the life of the immigrant. And at the end, we gave some strong recommendations to the government and to the immigrant. So let's take a watch the interview. In Finland, what are some of the effects or consequences of this underemployment?
There are two consequences of underemployment or unemployment for everybody, be it Finns or immigrants in Finland and outside of Finland. The two consequences of unemployment or underemployment are economic and social consequences. In economic terms, when a person is underemployed or unemployed, the person will not have enough income to take care of themselves, to take care of their basic expenses, for example, to be able to pay their rent. That is why we see cases of homelessness in some countries, even including Finland. Although this is not very common in Finland, we see cases of homelessness. We see cases where people are not able to eat well, they are not able to take very good care of themselves, because you need economic resources. You need to have enough finances to be able to pay for your basic living, like bus tickets, like leisure activities, and many other things that if you are unemployed, you will be limited with economically. That's the economic aspect of being underemployed or unemployed. The second aspect, consequence of being unemployed or underemployed, it is the social factor. In the social factor, when a person is unemployed, the person would fall under the underprivileged group in society. The person would tend to have low social status in the society. The person would tend to be marginalized in the society. And this have some kind of mental and physical effect, that when people have been for a long time on long-term unemployment, some of them lose their social status, they get into taking drugs, they get into prostitution and all kinds of bad things, like even dealing with drugs and so on, because they become frustrated and they feel like they've been excluded from the society. So unemployment in social terms has a lot of degradation on the person who is unemployed, who has lost everything that would give him or her dignity in society.
Thank you, Doctor. So, in a nutshell, underemployment deprives the immigrant of his or her economic powers.
Exactly.
Okay, and if I understood you very well, underemployment also leads to some deviant behaviors in the immigrant as a way of meeting up with financial demands.
Exactly.
It also brings low self-esteem to the immigrant.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you, Doctor. And to add to that, underemployment is also causing a lot of career change in the lives of immigrants in Finland. That is why you see a lot of immigrants drifting towards studying nursing programs, because they believe that it's easier to find a job in the care sector than any other section.
Yeah, that's true. That's why I said in the course of our discussion that it is also important for immigrants to study in areas where where it will be easier for them to find a job. For example, if an immigrant knows that they've studied something like history or something in the social sciences or in the humanities, and they've not been able to find a job, it's okay that they can switch to another area where they can where it will be easier for them to find a job, like as you just said, in the area of healthcare. But it is very important that there is some sort of diversity. Everybody should not just study healthcare or go into healthcare because jobs are, there's a lot of jobs out there in that area. There are also areas like technology. For example, Finland is a highly technologically advanced country, and there are different areas in technology where there is there are a lot of job availabilities. So I think this is something that immigrants, should also look into, in order for immigrants to belong to different employment sectors and to be qualified as well.
Okay, doctor. And you're also trying to say that immigrants in Finland should forget about career development, because if you have to switch to study in sectors that can provide job, it means there is no opportunity for you to follow your dreams or climb the career ladder in this country. You go according to the trend that the country is giving to you.
Yes, this is a very, very tricky question. This is a very, very tricky question that immigrants should or shouldn't follow their career trajectory, meaning one of their dreams. For example, you want to be a lawyer in Finland. You want to be, for example, a medical doctor in Finland. You want to be, for example, some kind of have your own technology company in Finland. But we have seen that, okay, language is a limitation here in Finland. For example, if you want to be a medical doctor with an immigrant background, someone who wasn't born here in Finland. So if that is the case, then my suggestion would be for you to go for something which actually suits you. Especially if the case has been that you've been for a long time unemployed in what you have studied. So because sometimes what we say is that you should be able to put food on the table regardless of what you do, because like no job is sort of a menial job in Finland. Yes, we need to follow our dream. Yes, we need to follow our dream. But sometimes if we are not able to follow our dream due to structural changes in the economy, due to automation, and due to other things which have taken jobs in other areas, then I think the case would be that we go for what is available. Yeah, it's a tricky question which everyone has to look at in their own way. But the bottom line is that let's try to do something as immigrants that would help us to contribute in the Finnish society in terms of getting an employment.
Thank you so much, Doctor, for your contribution. And to wrap up this discussion, I would like you to repeat those recommendations that you gave to immigrants and to the Finnish government. Can you say them once more?
Yes, the recommendations I gave for immigrants to be able to find employment in Finland is, the first thing is language skills. Try to improve on your Finnish language skills. Without Finnish language skills, it will become very difficult for you to get a job in Finland, because if you speak any other language than Finnish and also Swedish, and if you don't have really some good Finnish language skills, it will be very difficult for you to find a job in Finland. That's one thing. The second thing is for you to get very good academic and professional education. Academic, professional education, they are very, very important. The third thing is for you to get very good skills, job skills. And how do you get job skills in Finland? You have to do things like internships. So in the course of your studies, try to look for where you can do an internship. And also networking is very important in Finland. You have to network. You have to know people. You have to go for work fair and for job fairs where you interact with employers. You interact, because there are employers out there that are looking for unemployed people whom they cannot find. Then there are unemployed people that are looking for employment, but they don't know where there's employment. So this is very, very important to be very active. Also in job search, you should be very active in job search. Don't isolate yourself. Go out there in the open sometimes to the employment office where you are registered as unemployed, and try to get a lot of information online about the job market, and then continue to improve on your academic and also on your professional qualification, because if you did nursing 4 years ago and you have never worked as a nurse and now you want to work as a nurse, the skills you had 4 years ago would have been sort of outdated. So you need to improve on those skills. So that is why you need to be very active in the job market in the area of skills improvement. And on the other side of the Finnish authorities, what they have to do is the Finnish authorities have to put in place, as it is already the case, activation policies that would help in retraining immigrants that have lost their jobs in some industries that are no longer existent due to automation. The government should try to put, like I said, retrain workers that have worked in some industries that are no longer available. They should also provide other ways by which immigrants can be able to access jobs, and things like employment subsidy, which already exist, that are meant to help the unemployed, especially the long-term unemployed, to get into the labor market. They are very important. And then the government also, to encourage companies and employers in Finland to employ immigrants, could put a quota. They could say, okay, in every company, there should be at least 1% of immigrants employed in them. 1% of immigrants employed in them. We see this in the employment of women, that in every company or institution in Finland, there should be a percentage of women that should be employed in them. This has to do with gender, but we should also go in the area of immigration, that in every company, there should be a certain percentage of immigrants employed in them. If that be the case, I think the percentage of immigrants that are unemployed in Finland is going to, the percentage of immigrants that are employed in Finland is going to increase, because if more immigrants are employed in Finland, it's going to be to the benefit of the government, because the immigrants will be paying taxes to the government. They will not depend on the welfare state. But the more immigrants are unemployed, the more they will depend on the welfare state, the more they will not make any contribution into Finnish society. So it's a win-win situation.
Wow, thank you so much, Doctor, for those wonderful points you've made here. They are really very important, and I hope that the government gets this message. Yeah, and if I would just highlight more on a few points, please, the immigrants should make sure they study the Finnish language, do everything possible to learn the Finnish language, because that is the first step to escape underemployment or unemployment. I said first step because there are still many obstacles ahead. After you've beat past the language challenge, there are many other challenges that you will meet ahead. But first, let's begin with studying the Finnish language and doing the networking, like Doctor said, because I have come across many immigrants who got employment as a result of networking and attending seminars and programs organized for immigrants. So let's do our best and leave the rest for the government to handle. But again, my strong recommendation to the government is that they should also improve on the integration policies of immigrants, because at the moment, integration policies only favor the people moving to Finland on family ties or maybe for work. But for the international graduates, integration policies do not favor them. So if the government can also include international graduates in their employment integration policies, I think it's going to go a long way to solve this major problem. Again, to the higher education institutions, why crafting international degree programs to attract immigrants? They should include in them the study of Finnish language as a major course, not just as an elective course in the education program of immigrants. Because considering the importance of Finnish language in the life of an international graduate, I think Finnish language course should be a major program, or a major course in the program of international students. Because some universities do offer Finnish course, but they end at the level of A1.1, A1.2, sorry, and that is just the basic level of Finnish. When you go out there to apply for jobs, the employers require B1.1, at least B1.1 for you to be able to gain employment. So if you don't have this B1.1, it's difficult for you to find a good job or a job related to your field of study. And it's really difficult for international graduates to learn the Finnish language, especially with the fact that after graduation, they are faced with a lot of pressure of settlement. You know, they have to work to extend their residence permit. So it's difficult for them to go to learn the Finnish language. They have to do jobs just to extend their residence permit. That is why they can just go about doing all the meager jobs and just to earn a living and to extend their residence permit. So if the government can improve on these integration policies and include the international students, it will go a long way to solve this problem. And the higher educational institutions should also do something about the learning of Finnish language in the universities. Thank you very much, Doctor. It was nice having you in this show, and we appreciate your wonderful contribution to this channel. And we would like to say to our fans who are watching us right there, and to viewers, that if you have any comment to give to us or to any contribution to this topic, please let's hear you in the comment section. Thank you all for watching, and while we press on to see that some of these recommendations are taken into consideration, stay tuned to Emilai channel for more interesting and educative discussions on the challenges and successes of immigrants in Finland. Meanwhile, do not forget to share, like, and subscribe if you've not done so. Wishing you all a great step into 2023.